together images of people is making you think about things that you may not have thought about, especially with the questions that have been posed so far. Depending on the subject matter of the image, whether it could be casual photography or if it's something like marketing, how both race and sexuality are used to draw in the viewer.
50 Shades of Black to me just makes sense. It's probably, not 50 Shades of Black. It's probably 5,000 Shades of Black or 50,000 Shades of Black.
I think it's a good way to kind of break out of doing things in let's say, a non-progressive way. As we move forward, it's important to keep having conversations that push how we think in a much more progressive manner, and to kind of complexify and problematize ways of thinking which don't necessarily reflect reality.
Well, my doctoral work is in Brazil, and if you've ever been to Brazil, then you know that it's not about race, it's about color. They look at race a little bit differently than how we look at race. And I think this project speaks to all of the complicated bits and pieces of race that happen not only in the US, with notions like the one-drop rule, but also what's happening in Latin America. And what's happening in Latin America has, I think, implications and lessons learned for what's happening in the US. So the fact that we're able to have this cultural dialogue between what's happening in the US and what's happening in other places of the world is really important.
In this country in particular, I think there are a lot of myths about race. There's a lot of tension around race in this country. And when you can see people of a particular race or of different races opening up to talk about sensitive topics like race and sexuality, I think that becomes a wonderful vehicle for everyone to become part of that conversation and to gain insight.
50 Shades of Black is providing an open conversation with others. What do you see from this? What are you seeing from that? How does that make you feel? And I think really making people pull on stuff that maybe just back in their minds from maybe how they grew up, things that they learned from their parents or grandparents, or things that were said about race or color to them that they never really thought about. But now as an adult, they're thinking like, wow, that was really harsh, or wow, that was really, X, Y, Z. And so kind of now bringing that all to the front and kind of talking about it, and it's okay to talk about that and providing that forum. I'm really looking forward to that conversation.
I mean, I sit here speaking as a Jamaican with dreadlocks who has a British accent, speaking about blackness in American university, and that's a whole lot to put on the table. And just looking at me walking down the street, that maybe doesn't necessarily come out right away. So we have to have these forums where we can speak about these kind of things so that people understand all the kind of range of ideas and motivations and feelings and loves and likes that kind of fall within this idea of blackness that often we speak about as if it's just one big group of people moving in one direction, thinking one thing. That's not the case, obviously, and we need to respect and represent that more accurately.
I've learned a lot from the conversations, the blog posts, the photos, just observing and seeing there are people who are having experiences that are similar to, very different from mine. Just the broad spectrum of the different experiences that people have. And so I think if I'm still learning about these things, I think that it has the potential to educate and inform and provide a place for people to express these ideas.
So I think very important to hold on to an idea that blackness is many things. There may be some things that connect us all, but there's probably nothing that singularly defines what it means to be black. So yeah, I think this project is particularly fascinating because it reminds us of that simple fact, and creates space for us to kind of live with that ambiguity, kind of alongside the kind of monolithic beliefs that many of us have about what being black is. Many different things.